I skipped this figure when it was first released, mostly because I was being thrifty, thought I was fighting against corporate greed. Then, after watching people enjoy theirs for years, hating the prices I saw on eBay, I happened across one on Amazon at retail price, so you know I had to jump all over it. Now, because I'm a huge Ultra Magnus fan, I finally get my hands on this and correct a mistake that should have never been. Let's get into it. The first thing that hits with this guy is his presence. It's not just his height, it's his width. He's got broad shoulders, thick legs, deep chest. He takes up space in a way that feels deliberate. Next to the 86 cast, it clicks immediately. He doesn't overpower the team, he doesn't disappear into him, he fits. And that's harder to get right than it sounds. There's something about Ultra Magnus and Transformers the movie that always made him feel a little bit different. He wasn't quite Optimus, he didn't ever want responsibility, but he carried it anyway. And this figure actually captures that energy. He doesn't look flashy, he looks steady. Up close, the sculpting is clean. There's mechanical detail throughout, but it never feels cluttered or noisy. The panel lines are sharp, the edges are defined, nothing looks soft, and more importantly, the plastic feels really solid. There's no hollow, echoey little panels, no thin stress points. This feels like a figure meant to be handled, and that is awesome. The aesthetic on this guy is solid overall. The whites look clean, the blues pop, the reds pop too. Silver accents hit just like where they need to. Now, it's not perfect. Some collectors may want more paint, more detailing, especially around the legs and such. If you prefer heavier panel lining or weathering, this might look a little clean out of the box. But that cleaner finish is actually what I think most people were looking for, and it goes really great with the animated look. Alright, let's talk about the articulation on this guy. For a bulky character like Ultra Magnus, articulation is surprisingly strong. He's got, 90-degree knee, solid ankle tilt, shoulders with some real range. He's got butterfly joints if you undo the tab, elbows that do the natural two-handed weapon poses. You can get some commanding stances with this guy. And once he's posed, he stays there. No balancing tricks, no shelf anxiety. If you've owned earlier Ultra Magnus figures, like the Siege of the Kingdom versions, this one feels a bit more focused. It looks like they understood the project, understood the work, and just nailed it right out of the gate. These other two just look sad in comparison. It's not even a contest. Upgrade all the way. Ooh, and another cool thing about this guy is there's the moment from Transformers the movie that every fan remembers. When Ultra Magnus literally comes apart. In the film, he gets torn into pieces. Arms, legs, everything. It's one of the most shocking scenes in the entire movie. So naturally, people wondered, can this figure recreate that? And yes, much to my excitement and jubilation, it absolutely can. He can separate cleanly at the limbs in a way that recreates the scene surprisingly well. This isn't a random gimmick. This is built into the engineering. Because unlike older versions that were just armor over a smaller bot, this Magnus is a unified design and with a smart separation points. You can stage that scene if you want to. It's not something you'll display every day, but for longtime fans, it's a very cool detail. Alright, well, the transformation on this guy is pretty involved, but it is pretty intuitive, and albeit pretty simple. It's deliberate, and it just kind of goes and flows the way that it should. And once you get there, you get a car carrier that looks cohesive and screen accurate. The proportions are balanced. There's no obvious robot parts hanging awkwardly off the back. Everything unlocks cleanly. And yes, you can load Autobot cars onto the carrier, which is still one of the most satisfying display options in the entire line. Alright, so Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus doesn't try to reinvent the character, just tries to represent him accurately. And it succeeds very much at that. It has solid construction, the plastic feels great. The articulation is pretty good for a mainline figure. Sculpt's good, has great shelf presence, especially with its friends. This isn't the loudest release in the Studio Series, it's not the best, but it is definitely in the higher end of it. And it is one of the most confident. And for Ultra Magnus, it feels like they finally did him right after all these years. Alright, and that's my opinion on Transformers Studio Series 1986, Transformers the movie, Ultra Magnus. What are yours? Maybe go ahead and tell me about it in the comments while you're there. Maybe give me a like, but only if you liked my content. While there, also think about giving me a subscription. Until then, bye!